Everybody for being here today, and I hope you don't mind me walking around a little bit, but I got a lot to talk to you about, and I don't have much time to get all this stuff out. So I'm gonna have to ask you to listen real fast, and we got a lot of things, a lot of ground to cover. Some great things going on in the state of South Carolina. We are on our way to take South Carolina back for Christ. Okay, that's why we're here. It's not about the Christian Chamber. It's not about me. It's not about anybody in this room. It's about Christ. It's about figuring out how we can get the troops rallied, how we can get the Christian folks working together to change this state to where it ought to be. I wish I had time to explain to you how we got where we are today and how we got to become the South Carolina Christian Chamber. Doesn't really matter at this point. We'll have plenty of time to talk about that later. What matters is that you understand why and what we're going to try to do. We've been dealing with issues all over our state for a long time, and it seems to me like that we're losing our voice as a Christian community. I will say this, if you paid attention to the political process, you know that I don't know how many times I've heard Christian and conservative brought up in the elections. You know what that says to me? That there are people who still recognize the fact, and I don't know if it's more important that we're conservative or that we're Christian. I'm not sure it matters to the world. But that comes up on over and over and over again. But here's what I have come to believe. In the state of South Carolina, our legislators are losing confidence in the Christian community, in the church, in the people of this state, to stand up and support them and to push them and encourage them and to be behind them when they stick their neck out on a limb for issues for our state. We got to change that. I've just gotten through a process of working with some friends of mine to fight this pain-capable bill. Got a problem. Not very many people know what pain... How many people in this room know what pain-capable is? Well, dang, this is the most educated crowd I've been to. Most of the time I get one or two people. Problem is nobody knows what goes on, nobody understands the issues, and nobody knows the plan to fix the problem. We got babies dying in our state every day. One of the most important things that goes on in our state is the bill to protect the unborn. And yet the Christian community knows little to nothing about it. We don't have the ability in our churches to communicate. We don't have the ability in our businesses to communicate. We don't have the ability in our neighborhoods to know what goes on. I can remember just a few years ago, my mom called me one day and she says, William, the people where I live want to know what the people where you live are thinking and what y'all going to do. And I thought, why would they want to know that? Because people want to know, Christian people want to know what Christian people are doing and thinking. And they, you know, my mom lives down in the country in the lower part of the state, and I live in the up part of the state, and there's 3.5 hours between her house and my house. And yet we don't have the ability to communicate. We don't have the ability to be on the same page about things. And I'm saying it's time to change that. That's what I'm excited about. But let me take a minute and talk to you about my other passion. My other passion is running my company for Christ. And the business chamber gives me an opportunity to bring business people in to teach running companies for Christ. I believe in my heart that God's going to change this country through the business community. What that means is the business community's got to wake up. The business community has got to figure out how to make an impact through the platform that God gives them. So when I bring a speaker to the table, I'm asking him to do 4 things. I always use the word line as I guess you call that an acronym, L-I-N-E. Is that right, John? Am I saying that right? They're going to speak on 4 things. L stands for leadership. I want them to give you some leadership principles to take home with you so that you can take those principles back and apply them to your life. Tell people this all the time. If you hear good stuff at church in a meeting like this and it doesn't change your life, all you did is got entertained. If you go back and change what you do, you're going to be closer to God. You're going to make a difference and your life is going to change for the good. Okay? I is for integrating your faith at work. We're going to have people that teach you about how to integrate your faith at work. That's a hard thing to do. Every company's different. I'm going to show you some stuff in a little bit about that. Networking, that's our third thing. I want you to learn about networking because networking is important. Christian people ought to be doing business with Christian people all across the state. When I come to Charleston and I'm moving my office down, one of my offices here, I need to meet some people who can help me find some things and do some things. I got relationships in Spartanburg, and they got businesses down here, and they're already helping me. I got guys from Eastern Industrial. I got guys from Engineered Systems and other companies that are already planted here that are already helping me. That's what networking is supposed to be about. And I'm meeting, I got people like Jamie Jordan that I've known for 100 years that's introduced me to people, and Doug Hunter and all you guys. And Dr. Jerry, I just want to thank you for letting us to meet here. I wanted to start off with that, but I know that's already been done. But thank you for letting us to use this place. It's a great place. I'd like to see this place full of businessmen, full of business leaders. And we want to do everything we can to help Charleston Southern become a greater witness for the Lord. Okay? And that, having Christian businessmen here to doing that is what we should be about. If you don't believe the battles for our moral values are being fought into education, you're missing out. You're not paying attention. I can tell you some stories that we just fought a battle in Spartanburg with USC Upstate. They were teaching they were making our kids read a book called Out Loud, which is nothing more than gay and lesbian propaganda to teach our kids, having a symposium called How to Become Gay and Lesbian in 10 Days or Less. Now you tell me, is that right? It's going on right here in Charleston, also at Charleston, College of Charleston. Those are the two universities that we fought. And we called meetings with, I don't even want to go there. But anyway, we went to the legislature, we got it defunded, we got the problem fixed, and now guess what they're teaching in place of Out Loud and they're teaching the Constitution. And they're teaching them, they made them, if they didn't do it, they were going to defund them. Okay? And it made them mad. And I learned some stuff about how colleges work, and it's crazy. But they're planting people in these universities, and they're impacting our kids with craziness, and we got to put a stop to it. Okay? We have the ability. Now let me tell you why we can't get it done. Because we don't understand unity. We don't understand what God teaches us about unity. When he went to die on the cross, you remember the last thing he prayed for before he died? Would you not think it, right before I died for you, that I just prayed for one thing? Would you not remember that? Oh, by the way, I'm fixing to die for your sins. But by the way, I want to pray for one. You know what the last thing he prayed for? Unity. He prayed that you and I would be unified. If you go back and you read John 17, you're going to read and you're going to understand that he said we need to have unity so that we can make a difference, so the world can see that we're together and we're working and we're all on the same page. We'll share something else with you about that in just a few minutes. The Christian Chamber is going to be about unity. The Christian Chamber is going to be about networking. It's going to be about helping ministries. I got a couple of ministries in here today I want to highlight. My friend, I just met one from the corporate chaplains. Raise your hand. Stand up and tell us what your name is. And you got a friend with you, Stan? Stan Cruz. Okay, and you got another. I see another one of those pretty red. Now, guys, these guys, I'm embarrassing them a little bit, but look, if you're going to run a company for Christ and you don't have a chaplain, you're going to have a hard time making a difference with your people. If you don't have the ability to minister to the people that God gave you, you're not going to make it. Corporate chaplains are important. And if you don't have a corporate chaplain, you know somebody needs one, you need to get with these guys after this meeting and encourage them and get to know them a little bit. When I get a chance to highlight what they do, I'm going to highlight it because it's an important function to make these things work. Tim Terry sitting back here in the back. I didn't know, but Tim runs a ministry called Fresh Start. He's ministering to prisoners coming out before they get out. He's trying to educate them and help them get their feet back on the ground so they can be successful. You guys, I'm going to do something on this later, but I just want you to know, raise your hand, Tim. Tim. And if you guys don't know Tim Terry, you need to get to know him because it's one of the best ministries that I've seen to making a difference in this state. And I will explain that to you a little bit more at a later time when I got more time. So I want to get back to some of our issues. I got up this morning or yesterday morning, and I started reading the paper, and there was an article in there. It was entitled. Let me get my glasses on.